Hi everyone, it's your boy Zach, and this is my review of PICARD episode 2. I did a review of it like a week ago, and I gave it, I don't know how to describe it, positive but middling. I basically said I like this, and if I remember it exists, I'll probably watch episode 2, and a funny thing happened, as often does when you kind of have a not definitive reaction to something. I found myself thinking about it a lot the next day and recommending it to people, specifically normies. And then every single normie came back and they're like, this show is good. I had a lot of people I had to like coax through the first 10 minutes or like, I quit. Like, dude, you watch 5 minutes. Like, watch 5 more minutes. And then they're like, nah, I'm good. And then like half hour later, they're like, the show's awesome. It's like, okay, so, well, tone it down. It's good. So PICARD episode 2, he's still just kind of getting ready. He's like 80 and the character's supposed to be like 97. So it's fine. So what we got is a good show, a television show. What CBS All Access Star Trek should have been 3 years ago instead of Star Trek Discovery is like a parody of the J.J. Abrams Trek movies. It's like, remember how everything was exploding in those movies? They're like, well, not really. If you watch them, there's no. Everything will explode all the time, and everyone will be crying and screaming in every scene. But this is like a TV show. One of the things I would love to get some, real accurate data on, no pun intended, is the price per episode and how it's allocated. Because I feel like this show is like 50% for Patrick Stewart's, acting fee and producer cut, whatever he gets. And like, it's very TV. It's like, let's go into a set and talk for 5 minutes, like a good set, but there's not elaborate space battles or giant action scenes. It's basically an 80-year-old man slowly walking around and talking to people about a conspiracy that we can just figure out just whenever. There's no real hurry because it's been going on for tens of thousands of years, so we'll get to it tomorrow or the next day. It's a very plotted for an 80-year-old story, and I like it just fine. So what did we learn? We learned, spoilers, go watch it. Okay, you're back. Cool. That was fast. There's a Romulan. So they're doing something interesting. So I think everyone assumed that the Romulans as refugees was going to be very one note, kind of like the Skrulls in Captain Marvel. It's like, they're refugees, which means they're all saints. No, it's like, they're refugees, which means some of them are really cool and some of them are really bad, and a lot of them are in the middle. And so we're already getting multiple different types of Romulans. We also get people who don't look like Romulans but are Romulans. So there's a Romulan secret society. I hate when someone drives like right next to you. It's like, let's just roll our windows down and just hold hands. Let's just hold hands. We're buddies. There's the funny thing is they give us a name for the secret group, and then they give another name, but my brain just called them all like Fulangage. I just feel like I'm making that up. So it's this group that hates any kind of synthetic beings. It doesn't even like AI. They make the point that Romulan technology does not have AI. All it has is incredibly simple computational programs. To which I say, how? This is probably why you didn't detect that your sun was going to explode. When suns explode, like, don't they go to like different phases that last millions of years? You didn't notice till it was way too late. You're probably trying to plot a course across the galaxy, but you had to do it with the freaking Tandy computer. So what we're getting is a probably fairly simple mystery conspiracy show starring an 80-year-old and a whole bunch of people helping him. And I'm fine with it. I'm fine. There's little seeds of things being introduced. I like when they have. I feel like a jerk. Every single review I've seen, they call this woman the drummer from Scott Pilgrim, and I was like, come on, grow up. She has a name, but I can't remember her name. She was also the Goon's girlfriend in the Goon movies. I think they're called Goon. Are they, the hockey movies? They're called Goon, right? Those are good movies. I don't even like hockey. I love those movies. But at one point, she's talking about the Romulans, and she calls them the damned Romulans. And, you think about Star Trek being this very progressive future, so that's one thing I just picked up on right away. I go, oh, something's up with this little fluffy-haired scientist. Yeah, not much more to say. I like it. It's very pleasant and plodding, and nobody's gonna rush. This is a conspiracy that's been building for 10,000 years. Don't worry, it'll settle. I did notice little weird things like people saying replicator food was bad, or that a replicator had a limited menu. I was like, what? I can kind of understand this, like if it was on like Enterprise, the TV show with Scott Bakula, but this is supposed to be after TNG. Just one of those little things you notice, like people cursing and saying the F word. The first time I noticed it, I was like, I'm not really crazy about that, but the second time I was like, well, it's not like a Tarantino movie. They're basically saying it where you would say it in real life. You wouldn't just say like, gosh darn it, Rudy. You'd be like, the F in hell. I think we're 2 episodes out of like 8 or 9, and we're still just meeting people and just introducing subplots and little mystery boxes, and I'm just fine with it. I'm just fine with this very okay show. So it is a recommend. One thing I was just wondering, when does your voice become old, and why does it become old? Is it like nodules grow on the vocal cords? I don't think PICARD looks that bad. He definitely looks older, and he moves a little slower, but at one point he's getting the results from a physical, and they're like, you're very fit. And yeah, I buy that, but he's got the old man voice. I don't know, like, when does it happen? I just noticed from noticing my friends who are a little older than me, aging is very weird. You'll essentially look and feel the same for 5 years in a row, and then you'll just have that, like, you open the Ark of the Covenant, like a really bad year. Especially if you have a friend you only visit like every year or so. Like, you'll see it to happen to them, and they'll catch the look in your eye, like, whoa, you got to close the Ark of the Covenant. You don't look directly in it. And then the same thing will happen to you. Everyone will be like, wow, what happened to you? You're like, I don't know, just happened. That was fine for like 5 years, and then this happened. So yeah. So if you're older, let me know if your old voice has kicked in yet. I would swear I saw interviews with him 5 years ago, and he didn't have the old man voice, and it doesn't seem to be acting. It just seems to be that's his voice. So anyway, this is a recommend. It's not sarcastic. I find this show very pleasant. It's a very pleasant, easygoing show with a mystery that will eventually be solved. Probably. They introduced some more new Romulan girl in disguise. Very, very beautiful. Like I say, these are visual mediums. Having very attractive people and nice looking sets, it's like 90% of your job. So anyway, thanks for... I don't do that here. Mask of Zorro. I think I'm going to watch Mask of Zorro. Just popped up on Netflix. One of my favorite movies ever. So I'll probably do that as my next video. Thanks. Bye.